Hola everyone, Christian here. Klaviyo is one of the best tools for email marketing, and in this video, I want to show you how to make the best pop-up for email and SMS in your store. Let's get started. Now, we're going to assume that you already have Klaviyo sort of connected to your Shopify store. Now, if you don't, and you need help installing Klaviyo for the very first time, let us know in the comments down below that you want the install Klaviyo tutorial so that we can actually get that going for you. Now in this video, I just want to show you here the sort of final product, right, from the get-go. That way you can see kind of like what we're working with. As you can see, this is the pop-up right here. So that's limited time, 10% off. It has an your, so I'm going to just include that right quick, continue. And then the next step is going to be an SMS collection form as well. So you'll put your phone number in there, and then it will submit the form. Now, also another thing that we're going to be talking about is the new, I believe they call them teasers. So if you can see down here at the bottom, you get that little circle that says get 10% off. So this pop-up is always present in your store. So if they want to come back to it, then you have that little teaser there at the bottom, which we can customize. Again, it's a brand new feature, so stick around for that. And towards the end of the video, actually, I'm going to go over some examples of some pop-ups that I've seen some other stores do. So we'll talk about what makes them so great. So you want to stick around to the end for that. Now, before we move on, I just want to say bienvenidos. My name is Christian Piñon, one of the co-founders here at BitBranding. We're an e-commerce growth agency that specializes in helping clothing stores grow and scale profitably online. We drop new videos every week, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. All right, so we are logged into our Klaviyo account here. And as you can see, we have the dashboard, we have Totally 90s Kid here in the corner. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the sign up form. So we can click on sign up forms over here on the left-hand side. You might see this little form teasers, like I said, this is a brand new feature. So we're gonna be going over that as well. So what we're gonna do is, typically this will look blank if you don't have any sign up forms created. We're gonna create a sign up form here. And right off the gate, this is gonna give you a lot of different options in here. And it's actually going to have pre-populated multi-step forms. So the email and SMS ones are going to be already towards the top usually. So some of the newer ones are going to be towards the top. But you can actually grab any of these pop-ups and make them multi-steps very, very easily. And I don't know how many, I think you can add at least up to 3 steps right within the form. You may even be able to do more. So you can collect different information, obviously best practice. The less information, the better technically, or the less fields that your customer has to submit, the better chances you have of them submitting something. So as you can see, you have a lot of different options in here. And some of them are actually just for mobile. You can see the little phone tab right there. And some of them are for both mobile and desktop. Now for this example, let's just go ahead and do this very first one, multi-step email and SMS. And then you can name it. I'm just going to leave that name in there. And then as far as the list, I'm just going to do a preview list. And then we get to create our form here. So as you can see, right at the very top, we have the email opt-in. Then you have the next step, which is the SMS opt-in. And then as you can see, we can add a different step in here. We can click on that so you can see what that looks like. We have the SMS opt-in. We have profile information. So if you wanted to ask maybe more questions to personalize and target them a little bit further, you can do that there. And then you also have a blank step. So if you want to start from scratch, you just click on that one. So if you were using one of the other ones and you want to do that email and SMS, that's what you would do. You just click on plus step and then do the SMS opt-in. Then after those 2 steps, the next one is going to be the success. So it just says thanks for signing up, and then an image right there. So word of caution, yeah, like sometimes you forget the success form. But there's going to be this one in particular. We have 3 different things that we will have to go in and manipulate and edit. Another thing you have up here is the ability to see it on desktop and mobile, and you can see how that looks on each of them. Now, word of caution also, we highly recommend that you create pop-ups specifically for desktop and pop-ups specifically for mobile, as they have just different views, right? Absolutely. You have the completely different devices, completely different sizes. So it'll be important for you to create something specific for mobile so it actually looks clean, it looks good on those mobile devices. Now, a couple of things that we can do in here. Obviously, we have all these elements, so when you hover over them, you can manipulate them, click on them, and change what we want to say. So we want to do a 15% off actually in here. And then another thing that we want to do is get rid of this X. So typically what we've seen is that people tend to fill out the form when they can't find the X. So we're gonna get rid of the X, but we do want to provide a way for them to close this. So the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna click back here. We're gonna do add a block, and we're gonna add a button right underneath this continue. Oops. And then for this button text, the action that we want is that right there, the close form, since we're gonna get rid of that X at the very top. Button text is gonna say no thanks. And then what we wanted to do is get rid of the color. So it's just more of a transparent, just the text only. So let's do that for the background color. And then for the color of the text, let's change that to black. And then just because it looks kind of wonky, like too much spacing, let's get rid of maybe a little bit of this. And then padding at the top, let's do that 0. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Now we have it condensed a little bit. And then we just want to make sure again, yeah, close form is perfect. So now we can actually get, so it looks like Klaviyo doesn't let you necessarily get rid of that. Now, some other forms, when you start with them, some of them don't have the X, so maybe you can click on one of those. But for this one, maybe we can do, yeah, all transparent. So that's a little hack. So if you do all transparent background color and the color of the actual text, then it will be transparent. People will still be able to click that corner and exit. That's totally fine. But we want them to sort of navigate towards the either continue or the no thanks right there. So best practices, that's what we have right there for the first pop-up. Then the SMS opt-in for this one, again, this one doesn't have the X. It already has the close intent or close form right here at the bottom. It says no, I don't want text. Now, something very, very important with SMS is the fact that you have to include a privacy policy and terms of service within the form. You have to include a link to those things within the form. If you're not doing that, then you might get into some legal problems. Hey, if you like what you see, consider clicking that like button. It would really help us out. No joke, for real. All right, so yeah, the terms of service and privacy policy are both very, very important. So let me show you here. Klaviyo does have a couple of pages where they talk about sort of best practices. And again, they have these big notices in here. This is not legal advice from Klaviyo, and also not legal advice from Bit Branding. So keep that in mind, that you have to consult with whoever your legal counsel is to make sure that you're complying with the laws when it comes to text messages. This is very, very important. But Klaviyo does provide these 2 pages in here that give you a little bit of information on what you need to do. Klaviyo also has the ability for you to create mobile terms of service right within their platform. So you go to account, settings, and then SMS, and then you scroll down to the mobile terms of service section, and you're able to just create one from there. And you just sort of fill out your information, and they'll create one for you. They'll even host it right within Klaviyo, or you can also copy that and paste it into your Shopify terms of service. So we do have a video on those privacy policies, terms of service, all those policy pages on how to create them inside of Shopify, and you can see that right here. So if you already have those created, then you don't necessarily have to have a different one hosted somewhere else. I would highly suggest to copy that and just paste it into your terms of service inside of Shopify. And then same thing with privacy policy. They actually have this little article in here where they go a little bit on 3 different areas, which is the SMS abandoned cart, third-party data sharing, and location tracking. And they actually give you a little example of what you need to, or what you would need to include right within your privacy policy. And you might need to change some text, obviously. So the website here needs to be changed to your website. But underneath every single section, they give you that little text that you want to add to your privacy policy to make it current and good. Now, again, this is not legal advice, so make sure that you consult with your legal counsel to make sure that you're abiding by the laws, depending on your state, country, and whatnot. Now, because you need those linked, then that means that we've already added them to our policy pages. So we're gonna go to pages in here, in our store, and then we have terms of service. Click on view page, and then we have the privacy policy here, view page. So I'm gonna copy the terms of service. And then you wanna click on this text right here, and obviously what we wanna do is get rid of this, add a period there. I'm gonna highlight terms of service, and I'm going to click on that link. Try that again. I'm gonna highlight the text, click on the link, I'm gonna enter the link, hit enter, and there we have it, that's linked. And then we're gonna do the same thing for the privacy policy. I'm gonna click on copy on that, go back to Klaviyo. I'm gonna delete this, highlight privacy policy, click on the link button, command paste or control paste, or command B, sorry. To paste that, click on save. Oops, that's kind of wonky. Let's try that again. Click there, let's just hit enter. Okay, enter works. And then the last thing that we want to change here within this message is a company name. So for this one, we're doing Totally 90s Kit. So let's do Totally 90s Kit. And then I want to get rid of that highlighted orange. I believe that's this right here. Just make it transparent. Okay. Perfect. So now that we have that taken care of, we can move on to the next step. So for this particular pop-up, I want to provide the discount code right away within the success page. So if we go back here to the email opt-in, we had the 15% off. So right within the success page, I'm going to add a new block. All right, so what we're gonna do here then is going to add this text block and add it just underneath here. And then when we click on it, let's do use code welcome 15. And then let's highlight that, make it a little bit bigger. Oops. There we go. And then center it. Thanks for signing up. Use code welcome 15. Let's do at checkout. Perfect. So now we have right there within the success page, we have the code that they can use, but obviously that's going to be sent through email as well whenever they sign up through this form. So now that we have all those three things set up, I do want to mention real quick, all these images and everything within the actual pop-up, you can manipulate and change. So even for the images, they have a editor. So if you click on that, you can do a lot of different things, crop, transform, rotate, whatever you want to do with these images. Obviously you can replace the images, add alt text, the position, the width, everything for these images you can change. So just keep that in mind as well. After those three, the last thing is going to be that new teaser. So I'm going to click on teaser right here. And as you can see, we have a few different options. We can do rectangle, we can do circle, we can do the corner. And you can also change the position of where you want that to show up. For this example, we're going to do a circle. I'm going to put it in that right corner. Size medium, I think that looks fine. The behavior, I want to actually show this before and after the form is closed. So I do want to keep it there for the duration of their session, right, within the site. So that will show up right there. We have the get 15% off. I think that's fine. I think the color looks good. It pops right there. But you have the ability to change color, fonts, sizing, all that kind of stuff right within here on this left-hand side. You can even add an image to that right there too. So if you want to add maybe some texture to it, you could. All right, now that we have that set up, the last thing that we want to do here is do the targeting and behavior tab right here. And this will give you some options as far as display, devices, and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, we want to do this one just for desktop only. And then the other thing that we wanted to do here, I would leave this one here, display frequency. Don't show again after submit the form. Because obviously if they've already submitted, they don't necessarily need to re-sign up again. The dismissal, I don't want this. This is something that gets checked out automatically. If you click anywhere outside the form, it closes. Again, we don't we're trying to make it a little bit harder for them to close the form and to actually stay for a little bit longer and actually read it. Because the first instinct for a lot of customers is just find that X and click on it. So we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. And then I think the other thing is the show immediately. I don't think we necessarily need to do that as long as we have that teaser right there at the bottom. So that teaser will always show up no matter what. But the load delay, we can do something like show when visitor is actually exiting the page. So it doesn't necessarily damage the experience, right, of the customer. First thing they when they get to the home page, it's this pop-up showing up. Sometimes that can be kind of annoying. So instead, with the teaser, we can always have that present, that idea that you can get a 15% off always present. And then when they're actually about to exit, that's when the pop-up shows up. And the pop-up shows up when they click on the teaser as well. So there you have that. And then everything else in here, I think that looks good as far as the targeting and behavior. The next step would be to just hit that publish button. So let's go ahead and do that. And then in here again, they will give you a reminder that you need to make sure that you do the terms of service and privacy policy when you click on publish. And then it looks like we are live. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick. Let's go to our store. See, let me close this little preview here. As you can see, we have the get 10% off right here within the bottom. And then if we try to, well, I guess I need to do this as a incognito. So it actually shows me the pop-up. So let's do this. And if I'm already right here, we get the 10% off right there at the bottom. And then if I'm about to exit, that's when you actually see the pop-up. Awesome, perfect. So let me close that. Thanks. Oh, it's actually showing me the other one. So let me make sure that I have the other one turned off. So it looks like I have the original one that I created before I made this video. So I'm gonna hit and delete that one. And there we have the multi-step email and SMS form right there. Now I want to show you a few examples of some pop-ups and what they're doing good with the pop-ups and maybe what are they doing bad with some of these pop-ups. But before we get into that, I want to let you know about our sponsor, Triple Whale. Now more than ever, you need to be able to see your blind spots and opportunities in your clothing store and business. So we found software called Triple Whale. You can see the link below. That will literally put all the data points from Facebook, Instagram, Shopify, Klaviyo, all into one place so that every single day you can see your opportunities, your net profit, your grows, in order to continue to grow profitably for your store. So check that out in the description below. All right, so let's look at some examples here. Let me actually pull them up real quick for you. All right, let's get into some examples of some pop-ups here. As you can see, this one, we have a lot of images, which sometimes could be detrimental for the legibility of the actual text. And that's why they added this black square right here so you can actually see the text a little bit better. So if you plan on adding any background images like this, make sure that you have a good contrast and just your text is actually legible, right? That's gonna be very, very important. As you can see, they're using the no thanks right here. They still have the X on the very top, but it's kind of hidden, right? It's kind of hard to see because of all the imagery that they have throughout the whole pop-up. This one says get 10% off your first purchase, sign up and save, that's great. Next one we have here, I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. This one says unlock today's exclusive offer, 50% off plus free shipping plus a free gift. And this one has a sort of timer discount where they have just a limited amount of time in order for them to access this awesome offer. And then the other great thing about it is the call to action. So the call to actions, you want to be more specific to whatever you're offering, right? So for this one in particular, it's get my offer. If you're offering the 50% off that we did, then reveal code. Something that tells them like they're about to get this code right now. They don't have to necessarily wait for the next purchase or anything like that or wait for an email. It's more of a, hey, you're about to get this if you just click this button. And that's what you want to use for your call to actions. All right, so this next one here, I think they do a really good job of using the right fonts, the right colors, and it looks very on brand. That's something that a lot of Klaviyo owners, or not Klaviyo owners, store owners on Klaviyo, they sort of leave the same fonts, maybe the same colors, and everything's sort of the same or the default right within the pop-up. make sure that you change that. Make sure that you change colors, make sure you change fonts, make sure that, again, the call to actions and everything that you say in here. For example, at the very bottom, they say no spam, only good stuff, pinky promise. Again, that's part of the brand. That's part of how they talk to their customers. So really, really, really good one right here. Next up, we have a free dad hat. Again, just want to show you a different example of different offers, right? For this one in particular, we have a free dad hat with the newsletter sign up. It's a $10 value. And again, redeem gift is the actual call to action right there. Okay, and then the last one that I want to show you here is this one. It has a 50% off your next order. And again, it's the call to action, that's what I really like about it. And the fact that it's a very bright green button, it's completely different than everything else within here, within the image. Again, they use that sort of square filter in there, so you can see the text a little bit better with the image in the background. Although I would have done it a little bit higher so you can actually include the logo within there. The logo gets lost with that image in the background. But again, all of these examples are very simple. Again, they're only asking for one thing, which is your email address. Sure, you can have that next step in order to acquire that SMS if you're doing SMS right within Klaviyo, which, like I showed you, is very simple to just add that next step right within Klaviyo. Something else that I did want to mention real quick, if we go back over here to Klaviyo, Totally 90s Kid, we're here, integrations. When it comes to Shopify and integrations, you don't necessarily have to do, let me go back to sign up forms, you don't have to install the code snippet if you already have the integration when you did it originally. You have the automatically add Klaviyo on-site JavaScript. So this is what's recommended. So if you have this check mark whenever you did the initial process, then you don't have to worry about adding any additional code or anything like this. But like I said at the beginning of this video, if you want to know how to integrate Shopify and Klaviyo, you're just starting out, maybe you're not to the level of creating your pop-up right now, then let me know in the comments down below and we'll make a little quick video on how to make that happen with Shopify and Klaviyo. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But if you have any questions, let us know. All right, we'll see you on the next one.